Hi there. Welcome back to another episode of From the Ground Up with Esther. In this program, we talk about stories of faith, resilience, growth, and joy. And today I am very excited because I am meeting someone new, and you guys are going to meet somebody new too. He actually is related to someone I recorded with 2 weeks ago. If you go see, it's Philip Antunes. And during this season, we are speaking and chatting with people that are entrepreneurs that have built or are building something from the ground up. So it is my pleasure to have with me Dan, and I can't pronounce his last name, so he's going to say it for me.
Dan Sachkowsky.
Okay, Dan Sachkowsky. And so can you please tell us more about you, what you're doing?
Sure. I'll take you back to the beginning. Started off humble beginnings. And when I looked at life as a kid, my parents would probably disagree. One would say that we were doing okay. The other one would say we were living paycheck to paycheck. But I saw it as a kid that it wasn't a life that I wanted. And I realized that most people struggled. And there were also people who, had good lives. They were successful. And I needed to figure out that formula. So at a young age, I knew I wanted to be planted in different soil. I wanted to do different things. So I went on at 17 years old to start my first company. My parents told me I was crazy, but I did it anyway. And we were either going to do one of two things in life. We're going to struggle with a job, just trying to get by and climb ourselves to the top where we can only go so far, or we're going to be able to have a business where at one day the potential is to, buy your time, have life, have something that you really like work towards that's, a lot better than just having a regular traditional 9 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah, that is great to hear. Like I was telling you before, right? For me, I am the first one to do this as well. So coming and meeting other people that have gone through the same struggles or fears, it's something I'm inspired every time I hear their stories. So that's why I thought when I checked your YouTube channel, I saw that you have a song in your introduction that says "From the Ground Up." And that's basically me right now, learning from other people and building this, even the podcast, right? And yeah, so that is really interesting and exciting to see people like you, to meet people like you. Can you talk to me about your first business in construction?
Yeah. So started 17 years old, straight out of high school. Had no idea what I was doing. I just figured, hey, I'll figure it out. And I did figure it out. By the time I was in my early 20s, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And then by the time I was like 24, it was like 2007, I lost everything. Economy crashed, went bankrupt, and I was just in a bad spot. And I just realized that it wasn't that hard to build this and I could do it again. I just had to find the right vehicle. But what I did realize at that time is I was chasing money. I think the biggest problem in entrepreneurship is in the beginning, everybody chases money. Everyone wants the dollar. And if you chase money, you'll chase it for the rest of your life. And the bad thing about that is the money will always win. You'll never win. So I started chasing purpose, reason, and put money secondary. And as I put money secondary and I was doing things for reason, doing things for purpose, having a passion about what I was doing, it was just a lot easier to make money. And money became a greater vehicle for all the other things I wanted to do in my life.
So as you have done all these businesses, right? And you said first you started chasing money, and a lot of people do that. Where do you find yourself now? What are you chasing now in comparison to when you first started?
I'm chasing purpose right now and just looking at, and doing my best to live an abundant life. People don't understand that abundance is built. It's something that you have to build. It's part of your legacy. It's things that you can do that are going to long last after you're gone. And, I chase something that if I'm here or not, people remember me by the way I impacted them, by the things I've done for them, my kids, what I instill in them and their work ethic and everything that they do, and teaching them that like, it's not about all this stuff in life. And there's two things that we should always invest in. We should invest in ourselves, number one. And number two, whatever it is that we're trying to do as far as our business. Everyone always thinks like, I got some money, let me buy the fancy car, let me buy the fancy house, let me do all that stuff. Like I had that. That doesn't do nothing. It doesn't fill you. It just creates more of a debt that you have at the end of the day, end of the month, whatever it is. If you actually chase something, you do something, you serve people, you show up every day and you're bringing something and you have a burning desire for what you're doing and it's helping people, you're always going to make money. Now you just got to see how you're going to direct that throughout your life.
That's great advice. What are the fears that you have overcome throughout your journey? Like when you first started, right, as a younger man, 17, and then as you built some more businesses, what were some of the fears that you have overcome? And what is the fear that is always coming back?
Fears that I've overcome, I mean, just getting started, right? So the fear of getting started, the fear of rejection, the fear of people not wanting to hire me. And I've overcame those fears. So I was in the bodybuilding industry, like young, like 16 to like 22. And I realized that there's nothing to fear but fear itself, right? At that point, like you can only be as big in life as you want to be. And we create like false expectations about all these things that aren't really happening. And early on in life, I read a bunch of books, and these books told me, and he guided me, and he told me that we are either the creator or destroyer of everything that we think. So my biggest fear now is just not doing everything that I was here or served to be. But I tell people that, people go, I don't understand like how you have time to do anything. You are a maniac. You're all over the place. But realistically, I probably have 12 hours a day that I don't have to do nothing, because I have a very balanced life, and a lot of people never are able to get a balanced life, but I get things done in the times I need to get things done. But at the same time, I tell people like, we can't control the day we're born. We can't control the day we die. We can only control what's in the middle. And one day when we go to heaven, we're going to have to face God, and he's going to say something. He's going to say, most people, he's going to say, hey, I gave you so many opportunities and all you did was complain. All you did was make excuses. I can't believe like all these people that were looking down on you, you disappointed them, you disappointed me. What I want God to tell me is this: hey, I don't know what you did, but you blew the lid off it. So I'm always going more, greater, better, everything I can do, like at my max, because some day is not a day of the week. We can't get to choose the day we're gone. So I don't want to go to bed or be in a casket or die or whatever with regret or something I could have done. What example am I setting?
Yeah, that's true, because that happens. I can relate to that. People's always saying, you do so many things, so. And at the same time, I keep thinking, I have to, what you said, face God one day.
Yeah.
And I think of that. God has given me gifts. And I have found myself in the past complaining about things. But then now that I've put more action into the gifts I think that God has given me, or the ideas that he's put it into me, surrounding myself with people that can help me build that, right? And I think that's what you're doing with your business too. You said you help people go into entrepreneurship or
Well, I
coach
help people.
people.
Yeah, I help people scale their businesses. I help people in life. So there's one guy right now I've been working with him. He actually tagged me on an Instagram post today. Last 45 days, like I've helped him. Like I don't certify myself as a life coach, but I think no matter who I coach, it has to be the individual first before it's the business. So I really try to help people live their best life, be their full potential, and live for purpose. Don't live for money. Have a reason behind what you do, because when you serve and you have a servant mentality and you're giving people something, offering the world something that's great and has value, you're always going to be good.
Yes, that's true. And you mentioned God right at the beginning.
Yeah.
This is a podcast that is faith based, because I believe in God, and I think, like we said, God has given us gifts and ambitions that we can put into bless other people and serve people with. I read that you had a heart attack in 2022 and you overcame that, and I'm pretty sure that was something big in your life that allowed you to see maybe life in a different light.
Yeah.
Can you share with us a bit of that?
So even though at that point I was working, but I wasn't working like a lot. I had a business that was super successful. I was still burning the candle on both ends. I was going crazy. And that was a wake up call. I was in an ambulance and I'm texting my kids, and I thought that was it. Like I'd never see them again. And, you kind of like, but you kind of close your eyes for a minute and you're like, man, I should have done this. I should have done that. I could have done this. I could have done that. And then, leaving that hospital, I remember, like I said, my life will never be the same. If this ever happens again, I need to be prepared to know that I left with everything crossed off. I've done everything I can. And it's not about the money. It's not about the cars. It's not about all that stuff. Though I have some of that stuff, you know, um, it's about like the value that I bring today, the value that I can show people, the things that people think of me when they see me, and how I can impact somebody. Because, I mean, it's never fun sitting at the table alone, Like how many people are super successful, but they're empty inside. They don't have people in their life. I've seen so many people, like guys that are ultra successful, but they're going to the bar by themselves because nobody wants to spend time with them, because they don't know how to have relationships. They don't know how to do things. So that's not the life I want to live. I want to be able to like bring people into my life, bring people into my world. And at the same time, make sure that they're living their full potential, doing their best things. I can only do so much. Everyone has to be accountable for their own actions. But at the same time, I know that I'm doing everything I can to be the best I can. Can I do more? Yes. I think we all fall short, but I think that God will definitely tell me like, hey, super proud of you. You've done so much and you've been able to drive so much no matter what the circumstances.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's good, because we never know when it's going to be our last day.
Yeah.
right? So when you help these people, because you say you don't consider yourself a life coach or anything like that,
A
but
business.
or business goes, but they're learning from you,
Yeah.
right? And you're also learning from them as you, I'm pretty sure we all learn from each other. What is it, the common thing that you have seen in these people that have dreams that you're able to coach and help them throughout this journey of maybe entrepreneurship? What is the common?
So I think the whole life coach thing is like, that's like a certified piece of paper. You go to school, you study out of a book, and someone's teaching you behind a podium on how to be a life coach. I think you could only really be a coach and coach people on things that you've been through. I've been through so many things in my life, so many failures, so many heartaches, so many ups, so many downs. And in business is the same way. Like I've made it all, lost it all, made it all, lost it all. So I feel like I'm certified to teach people how to be successful, but also certified to teach them what not to do so they don't go down some of the roads I've went down. But it's super important to help people because most people don't have a reason why they do what they do. They just want to make money. And if you just want to make money, it doesn't define you. It doesn't do anything for you. If you want to make money, go work at McDonald's, go work at Home Depot. You'll just make money. But if
Yeah.
you're doing something for a reason and getting paid for it, that payment is a bonus.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So with that, can you say what are some of the things people are not supposed to do when they're starting a business?
First off, don't ask unqualified people their opinion. We spend so much time asking people what they think, and they're super unqualified. And usually the brokest people we know in our life will tell us all the things that we shouldn't do when they don't do anything, right? Second thing we do is we ask people their advice because we actually want people to talk us out of what we want to do, because it's almost like, all right, they clarified that I shouldn't be doing this, so I feel confident that I shouldn't be doing this. If you feel something and something comes to you and you have a desire to do something and you want to go after something, do it. Who cares what everybody else thinks? But now do it for a reason. Why are you doing it? What's going to be the purpose behind you doing it, and what's going to be the end result? And these are the things that we have to look at. Most people don't realize you can't grow in business until you grow yourself. Like whatever you're doing today in business, you'll never be a better businessman or a better businesswoman until you become a better person. It all works together. You can't be a better football player unless you train more. You can't be a better mom unless you're a good mom. You can't be great until you're good. This is what people don't understand.
Yeah, I can understand that because right now with me, I feel like I'm growing and learning as I go with the podcast, the people I'm interviewing, and then I find myself in situations where I'm like, oh, I need to apply this and grow in this area. So it goes hand in hand. So I can understand that, and it's true, totally.
Yeah, interviewing people on a podcast is super powerful because you get to see the perspective of real people, not average people, right? So I had 2 hours to kill before I came here. So I was sitting in Starbucks and I was just working on my computer and just interestingly enough, watching the people who walked it. And it's like, this is the world we live in, like this is what people do. Nothing. They sit here and do nothing. But then there's other people in there who are grinding, they're working and are doing whatever. And you just watch people and you just see what people are doing. But then it's 7:00 on a Friday night and we're filming a podcast. People are like, Friday night? Like people have been waiting for today, dying for the weekend.
Yeah.
I live every day like it's Friday. So I don't care. Yeah, I got to drive 3 hours to my shore house. But guess what? Like I get to have a shore house. I get to have a real house. I get to go whenever I want. Go home Monday. I don't have to go home Sunday. Like, you know what I mean? These are things that we get to put in our life because of the decisions we make, because of the disciplines that we create. And the masses fight for like just a space in the parking lot where it's like the CEO, the CFO, all the main people of the story have designated parking spots that you're not allowed to park in, right? So this is the way you should run your business. You shouldn't have to park where everyone else is parking. You shouldn't have to do what everyone else is doing, because if you do, you're thinking too much like them. You should be able to be like, hey, this is my lane. This is what I'm doing. Everyone's going that way. I'm going this way.
Yeah.
And I get to live the life that they don't because I'm doing what they won't.
That's so good. Yeah, see, I'm inspired by you now. I'm learning, guys. Can you take us back to a story where you made a mistake in your business or in your career, and that's how you won the biggest lessons?
So I don't look at anything like a mistake, but I do look at it as a lesson, right? So just in the last like 4 years, I had hired a guy who I trusted a lot. He did very well for me. So I gave him a little bit more freedom. As I gave him that freedom, I stepped away a little bit and he took full advantage of me. He nearly tried to destroy my company and put us in a position where no business owner wants to be in. So I didn't inspect what I expected. I just kind of like let things go because I didn't act like a business owner. I wasn't taking ownership. I was basically like handing my ownership off and allowing somebody else to run my daily operation and do things the way they wanted so I can like have less time in the office. So that kicked me in the butt pretty hard. But there's so many different things in business. We make decisions that are bad. We make decisions that destroy us. But if we don't make these decisions, we'll never be able to go to that next place. So I almost feel like God's got a game out there. Like, how bad do you really want it? Like, hey, I'm going to put a pothole and you're going to get a flat tire and I'm going to see how fast you can fix it. Then I'm going to put another pothole and you're going to get 2 flat tires and I'm going to see how you get home with 2 tires, right? Like he really has designed this thing in our life to say like, I want you to live an abundant life. I want you to be, successful. I want you to have all this stuff, but the road's not going to be easy. My road wasn't easy. So why should your road be easy? But at the end of the day, we just kind of like look at all these great things in life that we have and we're super thankful for all the good times, but we're not thankful for the bad times. When the bad times are times to be most thankful for, because it's time for you to kind of like re-engage, you learn a lesson, you see, okay, what's my greatest blessing or my greatest lesson from this situation? And don't look at it as a curse. So many people look at negative situations in their life as like a fallback. All it is a reset. Like, hey, you're going down the wrong road. So I slapped you in the face a couple times. You got to go the other way. These are the things that we have to do in life. And as long as we can grow through things and learn through things, life will be better. But everyone tries to go through things. You can't go through bad times. You got to grow through bad times. If you go through bad times, you're going to stay in bad times because you're focused on the bad time instead of saying, what's this doing for me? What's the lesson it's teaching me? And where will this put me besides me putting it behind me? And then learn and grow from that.
That's good. You have to grow through bad times.
Grow through things.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to keep that. That's a good one.
Because there's not every time, there's always going to be bad times. There's always going to be good times. So I always tell everyone I work with, listen, you can't have a black without a white. You can't have a positive without a negative. They work hand in hand. If you're bad or you had 2 positives, it wouldn't work. 2 negatives, it wouldn't work. Constant flow of negative, constant flow of positive. Now it's all about how do you get this thing to work?
Yeah, that's good. See, I like it. You're a speaker. You also do speaking engagement events. Yeah. This, again, is for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So I have a couple events coming up. I'm not sure when this airs, but just in 2 weeks, October 10th, I'm doing the Rich Thinking Conference in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I'm a speaker there. There'll be a couple speakers there, an ex-Eagles football player, a couple other entrepreneurs. And then I'm actually doing an event in New Jersey. My coach is flying in from California. This guy makes millions and millions of dollars. Unbelievable guy, changed my life. I've had coaches for many, many years, but he's been the most impactful. And we're doing an event together, just basically a mastermind on leadership, business development, and growth. And that's in November.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you connect with people at the beginning when you were starting your career into, entrepreneurship and all of it? Because connections are everything, right? And opportunities just come. Can you take me back to that?
Yeah. It's all about who you put yourself around, right? So I remember when I first started in business, I would go to like these business meetups, right? Coffee connections, whatever it was, cocktail hours, whatever. And all these business owners were there and you shake hands. The best way to do business is by being in front of someone and shaking their hand. I call it belly to belly. You can't do business on Zoom. People are always like, hey, I want you to do my podcast on Zoom. I'm like, I don't want to do it. It's not impactful. You don't get to feel what the other person's doing. Fortunately, yes, there are some podcasts I have to do on Zoom. I have to do one on Sunday. This guy lives in a totally different state. He's super unavailable. And it's 8:00 on a Sunday, which, I don't know why I agreed to, but I agreed to. But it's all good because, again, Sunday is my Wednesday. It doesn't matter, right? For me, I've always tried to get in front of people. And what's crazy is by the age of 19, we know 2,000 people by first name. The average person knows 2,000 people by first name by the age of 19. And I've just met so many people throughout the years, and I've always had conversations. Like my kids will be like, you talk to everybody. Of course I do. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what they're going to do. And every time I go somewhere, I try to look at the opportunity. Like, who does this person know? Who is this person? I'm super curious. I went to a father-daughter retreat on Saturday. And I literally was talking to every dad. Some dads were standing in the corner with their arms crossed. I'm talking to every dad. What do you do? What do you do? Oh, wait, that's interesting. Oh, okay, great. And I just get people to connect with me. LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever, because you never know.
Yeah, yeah. I enjoy meeting people, like a lot of people too.
Uh,
And I think I didn't know why before, right? Because everybody says, "Oh, Esther, you know so many people." But now I see, okay, actually, this is a gift for me because I have other aspirations, and this
mm,
is actually serving me.
yeah.
And since starting the podcast, I've met so many people. I met Giovanni, which is a blessing now to me to
Our
even
man
be on this
Giovanni.
studio.
Cut, cut.
But yeah, I can understand what you're saying and relate to that as well. And now I encourage people and say, yeah, if you're looking for something, go to meet people, talk to them, go to networking events. You never know, right? Yeah.
Even podcasting. I mean, I've probably this year alone, 2025, I've probably been on 40 podcasts as a
Wow.
guest. Now think about the connections that those people make.
Mm.
Oh, I want to introduce you to this person. I want to introduce you to this person. Like, this is the podcast I did this morning. Look who this guy sends me. I respect the jump you made to finding a coach, spend money to dedicate yourself pure growth. It was really good getting to know you today and looking forward to staying connected. I had no idea anything about you after today, and I'm really intrigued to know a lot more about you and see how you can help me grow in my future. Like that's the stuff that matters.
Yeah, yeah, that matters. Like today, I didn't know Dan until today. It all happened because I interviewed, like I said, Philip, his cousin, and Philip is also an entrepreneur. I'm inspired by him. So I don't know how you found it.
His Instagram page, I found him. I think he told me to connect with you because he asked me to come on my thing. And I
Mhm.
said, hey, I'm going to be in Connecticut on Friday. And then I guess we connected.
Yeah, yeah, because he had told me, he said, "Oh, my cousin, he has a podcast." I was like, "Oh," and I saw you're connected to my network now, and those are people that I've been following too, and they are an inspiration as
There's
well.
so many podcasts in Connecticut.
No,
I think I come to Connecticut once a week. Everyone's like, you're always in
really?
Connecticut.
I didn't know. I'm also amazed because I had no idea of the world that was happening in Stamford,
Yeah.
Connecticut with all these people. Yeah,
It's great. I mean, listen, there's tons of entrepreneurs around here, and
yeah,
it's just good for you. It's good vibes for you
yeah.
guys and good opportunities. We don't have that in Jersey.
No?
No, because we're just we live in your cities are just like so much more compact. We live in such a densely populated area that there's just so much going on. We don't have that.
No, I think I heard somebody else say that. I think I met him too from Hollow Labs or something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no,
his name.
Alan,
Alan, I think,
yeah,
yeah. I think he
Underground
had said
Nutrition.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've known him for a long time.
I want to go back to what you said, because we're talking about God a lot. How has your faith helped you throughout this journey?
It helps me every day. I mean, it's how I start off my day. Scripture and journaling and devotions and every single day because it's the only way for me to start to just let go. And it's crazy that no matter what I'm thinking about, as soon as I open up that book, it's like, boom, I'm like, how'd you know? And it's always like just laid out. It's
Yeah.
comes and whenever you need an answer. So just like a few weeks ago, I was journaling, asking, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me. And then finally, like, boom, it comes, people don't understand. Like if you ask, you'll receive, you'll get it. You'll see it.
Mhm.
And, I feel like that's how so many divine appointments happen in our life is because of our faith and what we're doing. And it's easy for people to say they have faith. I hate when people say I'm religious. You know what I mean? Like that's just BS to me. Like, do you have a relationship with Jesus or do you not? Like, religion is? That's a man-made thing. It's not really what you should base yourself on. Like, do you have faith or what are you faithful for? What are you thankful for? And what are you practicing? Or do you only have faith when things are good in your life?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're a Christian,
Yeah.
right? Do you go to a church? How was your first encounter with Jesus?
My son was 18 months, fell out of a window,
Oh my
like
goodness.
18 feet,
Wow.
turned white, like this white back here. I thought he was dead. So then this guy, I only knew him for maybe a few weeks. He was a Christian and he like introduced me back. I grew up Catholic, right? I tell everyone I'm a recovering Catholic. Could be funny because some people get mad at it.
No, I heard
Uh,
that
so I say it
before.
a lot, like I'm a recovering Catholic. So I went to their church and their church was wild. I mean, when I tell you people were falling down,
Hmm.
I was like, I can't do this. I'm not going here. This is wacky. People are freaks in here. Right. So then I went back to the Catholic church. My mom was like, oh, come here. And I fell asleep.
Hmm.
It was like deja vu. I did the same thing when I was 14. So the hemming and hawing wasn't for me. The falling down on the floor wasn't for me. So I just kept trying. I just kept going to places. And we found a home and we went there a few times. We realized that what I liked about the Christian church was the pastor had a real life. The pastor had a family. The pastor had a business. The pastor had finances, so many things to worry about, where in the Catholic Church, it's like your life is funded, just show up. And you can't relate. So again, this is like, for me, this is like that textbook life coach, a priest, right? A priest who lives with 3 other men and they preach, and they don't have financial problems. They don't have a family. They don't have kids. So how can you talk about them? How can you relate that to the Bible? You can't. You're just guessing. That's why most people say, I want to go see a therapist. Your therapist is probably more screwed up than you. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to go see someone because they're certified. You got to find someone who's been through it. So that's what I really adapted in the Christian church, was that real life, real stories, applying with biblical principles. It really worked. So I've been a Christian since 2007.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I like that you're
Most people
saying
don't
that.
know that. You know what? Like, I'm not like, so I tell people I'm like a Bible thumper, right? Like, I don't go out there and preach, but if I need to talk to somebody, the right opportunities, you do it.
Yeah.
I feel like the people who are like throwing Jesus down your throat, they need Jesus more than they need to give Jesus away, right?
Yeah.
So there always comes an opportunity where it comes up. For example, one of my one podcast, my co-host does not believe in Jesus, doesn't believe it. So almost 90% of our guests talk about faith. And he's like, oh, here we go again. But it's going to be one guest that's going to change his decision. It's not going to be me. It's going to be one story, one thing that happened that's going to change his decision.
Yeah.
But I don't sit there and preach to him.
Yeah.
I just go, Anthony's not going to like this part, so let's talk about it anyway. So,
Yeah.
I mean, faith is a major player in my life. So it says in the Bible, right? Faith is the substance of all things hoped for. Like, we hope for so many things in life, but if we don't have faith that we can actually get them or we deserve them, we're not going to get them. I always tell people, like, everyone's like, why do you have this? Why do you have that? Why does he have this? Why does she have that? Well, I said, well, why don't you? The reason why you don't is because God's not going to bless anyone who's not blessable. Like, you're not just going to get something because you want it. You're going to get something because you deserve it. But you're going to have to go through it to get it. And if you don't go through it to get it, you probably won't keep it.
Yeah, that's good. No, I like that you're saying this too, because I'm a Christian, right? And I present myself, yeah, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. But I try to be that person that they can look up to, instead of say, like a lot of people always like throwing Jesus at
Trying to
you,
preach, yeah.
trying to preach all the time and telling
They know
telling
one
people what they
scripture.
do wrong or that they're going to hell. For me, it's like, okay, this is who I am. This is the way I live. And I'm sure that I can bless you. And then you can see Jesus in me. And I'm sure that God will come and reach for you. He's always calling us in different ways, and having these conversations and learning about people and how they do business too. Because a lot of the misconception I had like growing up, it's like, Christian, you have to be poor, or if you have money, it's not humble, right?
Well, the Catholic Church says that, but not the Christian Church.
Yeah.
Because they want, and everyone has a misconception of tithing and understanding what giving back is and all this stuff. Like, listen, the kingdom will bless you. Like, you just have to be able to feed what's feeding you. Like, a car without fuel is never going to run. But if you give the car a little bit of fuel, it'll take you places.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with, your church, your body, whatever I don't donate to a church. I donate to Ability Tree, which is my charity of choice. It's Christian based for kids and families that have disabilities, but it's Christian based. I was actually just on the phone with the pastor as I was pulling up here talking about something. So that's where I give myself back everything I can. All my events, we do donations back to them. It's a give back program because it's not about me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be okay.
Yeah. And serving others, right? That's where the joy comes, because you're blessing. Even with the podcast, you bless other people that can learn from you, and what you're doing, giving back with resources. God sees that too, because he's the one that knows our hearts.
Right? He's connected with me with so many people.
That's amazing.
So many people.
Yeah. See, now I want to write the same email the guy wrote to you. Yeah, that's so good.
No, it just, you know what? Like, we learn a lot, and I'm not perfect by any means. I always tell people, like, I'm truly practicing how to be a Christian, but I'm practicing.
Yeah.
Every single day I'm practicing.
Oh, yeah.
Some days I don't show up, but you know what? The next day I'll work twice as hard.
Yeah.
And I think there's this like falsehood where everyone thinks that, Christians think they're perfect, and, we try to like condemn each other. Listen, every one of us in this room right now is screwed up in a different way. And it's not for us to judge, but at the end of the day, as long as we like work on becoming better in whatever area we can, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good, because that's why we need Jesus, because we're not perfect, right? We need a savior. We need the grace of God every day. We're not perfect.
I say it on my podcast. Like I've lied, I've cheated, I've stole. Like it's all a part of life. We've all done it.
Mm,
Whether you've only stole a Tootsie Roll from the store, you still stole, when
yeah.
you were a kid, because your parents wouldn't buy it. Whether you lied to your mom about if you broke the glass or not, you lied, right? So it depends. It doesn't matter how big or small the lie is. We all do it. But when you look at the disciples, right, they were all thieves, liars, cheaters, like they were all bad people. But
Mm,
those are the people that he wanted. He wanted to show that you could change. It's our job to be a work in progress, a change in progress day in and day out versus trying to be a perfect version. So, that's what I seen with, you talked about people talk about you going to hell. Like that's what I see with the Catholic Church. It's like they're so quick to condemn, like they're so quick to tell you how bad you are because you're not doing things in the eyes of the way they believe it. But
mm.
who are you to judge, right?
Yeah, yeah. And God will show us, right? We do have hell, we believe in that, and heaven, but God's job is He wants to bring more people to heaven, right? He doesn't want anyone to go there. And His grace is the one that helps us every day to see His goodness and say, okay, I've done wrong, but I have the grace of God that
Yeah.
I can grow, accept that grace, and just realize that I don't need to be perfect because God loves me so much and He can help me along the way. Yeah, that's
That's what I
great.
think I'm every day. Every single day, I say I'm grateful for your grace, love, and mercy. Everything else we'll figure out.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. I'm so glad you're doing that. It's good to have people like you in business that can bring that grace. You have 3 kids?
3 kids, yeah.
Okay. Because you have grown so much in your life, what is the main thing that you teach your kids?
So what I've taught my kids now as they go into adulthood is number one, understanding the difference between wants and needs. Like what you need in life, not what you want in life. Number two, just being a good person. And anyone who's ever met my kids will tell you like your kids are so respectful. Thank you, hello, goodbye, all that kind of stuff, because that's super important. But I teach my kids like really so many things about resilience and,
Mm,
being a person who doesn't give up, doesn't quit, and you just go after everything that you want to go after, but just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. I had a conversation with my oldest son today, and last night he said something about how, he wanted to do this in life and do that in life, and he feels like he's missing out on this stuff. And I'm like, bro, you are like 4 times way more ahead than people twice your age.
mhm,
Just because, and again, because his peers, people who are his age, he's a business owner, he's successful, he's got things that other people don't have. But what he doesn't have is time. What he doesn't have is the ability to take personal time off or vacation to go on things that don't matter, that are just fun. And I go, bro, business owners don't do that. Like, you got to level up. You got to know that, like, that's for the employees. Employees will take a day off to go do something, but you have things to get done. And you got to work hard the next 5 to 6 years so that you have more work than you know what to do with. And then you can pay people to do things and then you can enjoy life. But you can't enjoy that life yet,
wow.
because the minute you put your foot on the brakes, your momentum is going to be 3 times as hard to get started again.
That's true. That is something Philip said on the podcast too. As long as you are moving, failure is just another lesson and you keep growing.
You're going to fail
Like,
every day. You fail
yeah.
every day at something, whether it's pouring something in a glass and you spill it outside the glass, whether it's dropping something on the floor, whether it's stubbing your toe, whether it's, not coming to a complete stop, or whether it's something completely bad.
Hmm.
We fail at things every day. Failure is inevitable, but it's like when you're working out, you have to work out to failure, resistance. Your body needs that resistance for you to be able to grow. So the way entrepreneurship is, the way all growth is in life and anything, is you have to go to the point of failure. And if you fail, that just means you're growing, no matter what you look at in life.
That's great. So failure is not actual failure, it's just an opportunity to grow. Right.
Yeah. So the last podcast I was in, I was saying, listen, I get kicked, in between the legs so many times a week, and I
Mhm.
fall down to my knees. But at the end of the day, as long as I don't get knocked out,
Yeah.
we're all going to fall. But it's
Hmm.
just about getting back up.
Mm.
But once you allow life to knock you out, then you become paralyzed to all possibilities.
Yeah, that's good. So this podcast is called From the Ground Up, right? From everything that you have built, what does it mean for you when you think of From the Ground Up?
Well, just doing everything on your own and not being handed out anything, and being able to go through, learn, and build everything by yourself. That way you understand the true meaning of what it is to actually have something, do something, and be
Mhm.
something. Too many people in this world want things handed to them. And if you're actually going to do something worthwhile, do something for people to remember you by, you got to be the one to actually, put the grit behind it, do everything, and build yourself up. But that from the ground up, as you rise, you got to become a statue because statues stand forever.
Mm.
So you got to make sure that you're building something with a solid foundation that's going to last long after you're gone.
And what is your foundation? What will you say is your foundation?
My foundation?
Yeah.
Well, I think faith is my foundation because everything in my life I'm grateful and thankful for. And I truly don't believe that any of the good things that happened in my life would have happened if I didn't believe. But most things that I set in my life, I do it not for me. I do it for long term, for legacy, for what people can remember me by. How can I be a servant? And as long as I base myself as having a servant mentality and being able to be a powerful plug to people.
Good. That's cool. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. And can you tell us what are your businesses? Where can people find you? Where?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, my biggest handle on social media is going to be Big Dan Official on Instagram. That's like where you'll find me. I'm active on there. I'm the one in my DMs, everything. I'm everywhere else, LinkedIn, all that stuff. But I really just use Instagram. I have a bunch of stuff on there. I have a free 7-day challenge for any entrepreneur who's trying to just, get remotivated, get back into it. I have a free 7-day challenge on there. Coaching.com. That's if you want to be, working with me as a business coach to help you scale your business. And that's it.
And where are you based?
New Jersey
New Jersey.
and Florida. I go
Okay, you've lived in New Jersey your whole
my whole
life?
life.
Nice, nice.
I'm
Well,
a Florida and Jersey resident. I'm a snowbird.
yeah, yeah, a lot of people do that. Well, that's great. Well, I'm happy that you were able to join me today and that we're able to have this connection now and learn so much from you. So
Appreciate the
thank you.
invite.
No, thank you for coming. This was interesting.
Maybe different, right?
Yeah, it was different because like we said, we put it together in like 4 days, I think. So yeah, this is really good for me. I've learned so much from you and I'm pretty sure everybody else has too. So thank you. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And I will keep, you guys can connect with him online and connect with me as well. And if you enjoy this episode, please subscribe, follow along on social media from the ground up with Esther. You can subscribe on YouTube and listen on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.